Welcome, everyone, to the interview segment for today's show. I'm here with the illustrious panel from the Stogie Geeks. Joe Hollywood and Joe Rainman are here with us. What's going on, guys?
How are you?
What's up?
Doing fantastic. Our special guest for this segment are Willie Morante from La Aurora. Welcome,
How you doing,
Willie.
guys? How's everything?
Good.
And the one and the only Manuel Inoa. I don't know how you've escaped not being actually on the show for this long. But this is great. It's so nice to have you, Manuel.
Thank you to bring me here, my friend. I would love to be with you for everything you need.
We have lots of questions for you today. It's not every show that we get to have a master cigar blender on the show. And us being the Stogie Geeks, we ask lots of nerdy questions, usually which stem back from the early times when I started smoking La Aurora cigars. And I want to say I started because there was a retailer that found a box of La Aurora Preferido Cameroons. The number one is the largest size Preferido,
Sí.
and they had aged for so long. What is so special about that blend? Because I smoked it and I was like medium bodied, just tons of flavor, and I was like, I'm hooked on La Aurora now. Like that's it. I'm hooked. I'm hooked.
You know, the Preferido line is the line that the company decided to put in the front. So we take a lot of care with us tobacco on the rum bottle to age. So we give it 6 months extra in the aging process, just in rum bottle. Then to the aging room, when the cigar is done, 6 more months. 6 more months.
Nice.
Inside there. So it's matter of age. Until more age, more better.
And now, but one question that's really been burning on my mind is, in the Preferido line, there are some that come inside of those shiny fancy tubes.
Oh, yes.
And there are some that come not in the shiny fancy tubes. Is that in fact the same blend?
Oh, yes, yes.
Okay.
We had to adjust a little bit because not the same to get a Corona size than a big size in terms of taste and blend. So we had to adjust a little bit, and people love it. People love it.
Now, I want to know what you adjusted on the Lancero size, because I think it's heralded as one of the most liked and highest rated cigars ever on this show is the La Aurora Preferido in the Lancero in the Cameroon.
Yeah.
So what makes that cigar so special?
I think that's the consumer. I receive a lot of phone call to get the Lancero size because it's a perfect size for somebody. For me, it's nice. Lancero and Corona is perfect for me. It's a decent smoke that when you have a Lancero in your hand, long and a small ring. It's nice.
In the blending seminar, you went through the Preferido blend.
Yeah.
Could you just recap that for our listeners? Because I thought that was a great experience, and I learned a whole lot about tobacco. And I think it's a really good blend to exemplify how bringing all those different tobaccos together and what an art it is to come up with something that always just smokes so great for me.
Yeah. People need to know. People that smoke cigar, to enjoy cigar, need to know what is that smoking. So we bring the training kit with 4 different pure grade. Pure grade means the filler, wrapper, and binder all together from one position foliar, one line, and one seed. So people need to know how affect the position on the tree, the flavor and taste that you can get it. So you get the Brazilian, the Peru, the Dominican, and Nicaragua in this blend. And then you get it all together to see how the combination work. Of course, you have to do the perfect combination because we tried 80 type of blend to get the final one.
And no, when you try the blend, was it the same primings that you were experimenting with the blend, or did you experiment with primings and positioning and ratio?
Yeah. First, at the very beginning, you had to try with the priming. And then you were doing combination, depending what you find out in the pure rate, because it's the only way you get the bad thing or good thing at that moment.
I was amazed as to how well the puros, the pure grade ones, there's all different names for them, right? The single leaf, like that on their own was enjoyable to smoke. Right?
No, pure grade by himself is not enjoyable. It could be, you will like it, but it's the same thing all the time.
Right.
So you have to blend it to do the more exciting.
And
More
the complexity.
more the complexity and
Yeah.
the
One flat.
It's one of the flavors. In
Yeah,
the
it's
blend.
too aggressive to get the pure grade. You cannot enjoy it.
Yeah.
This is the hard work that we do in the fermenting process
Did you have to smoke all the pure grades? Right?
to see how it works.
Life, I tell you.
Yeah.
Tough life.
Yeah.
Did you guys have questions on the Preferido line? I know it's one that you guys also like to smoke as well.
Absolutely one of my favorite. I'm sitting on 5 boxes at home, and I scoop them all up anytime I come across them.
And Joe, thanks for the subliminal marketing over there.
Go support my friends. Why not? Of course.
Very nice. Very nice.
I'm an XL if you ever, if you ever want to ship, you know.
Got it.
Have you tried the last Preferido that we launched? The double barrel age?
Double.
see-
I haven't had the double barrel aged one in some time.
You try?
I have smoked it
Okay.
before. Yeah.
It's a very unique cigar. That's one because it's more aged in the tobacco and the rum barrel and more aged in the aging room with double.
And is that the Preferido blend in?
Yeah.
See.
In the,
It's
okay.
a
But with
dark
that-
brown
With another wrapper. It's a
tubo when you see it on
Havana
the shelves.
wrapper.
And what was the wrapper on that?
Havana 2000 is.
Nice. Of course, then I smoked Preferido, and then of course we move into some of the other very special cigars that we love to smoke from Aurora. Puro Vintage 2003. Probably one of the best times to smoke those is now. Like they just seem to be like shining in flavor. Like they just pour flavor for the entire smoke, and it's really amazing.
Oh, yeah.
What went into the blending of the Puro Vintage 2003?
Yeah, that's the first time that we coming with Sumatra Ecuador wrapper. The vintage was nice in that years, all over the world. So, all over the world, the tobacco industry. So the crop was nice. You can get rich flavor in it. Years ago, I have another crop in 2008 that was very close to 2003.
Gotcha.
And we released something similar to Puro Vintage 2003. It's La Aurora
Reserva 2008.
2008.
It was just released this year at the show.
But
Okay.
it was not tobacco to do it, only 5,000 cigars. 5% of that crop, we save it for do that cigar and only 5,000. So 500 boxes. Our director decided to send to America 250 and Europe 250. To everybody have one special thing that very close to 2003. Yeah.
That's awesome. In terms of the number of special cigars that you've come out with, it's amazing. The list just keeps going. Like the hits keep coming. Because then we get to talk about Cien Años,
Oh man,
of course, which is I think
This
the
is
last time
bad.
you were on, we talked about that.
we save a lot of, let's say 6,000 Corona size. We don't sell it anymore. But and Guillermo is smoking a lot that cigar.
You kept them for yourself.
See.
Is what you're saying? Yeah, I see how that goes. Yeah, and that's now. Is that also a blend that you had the original crop and you regrew the crop over time and did like a second offering in Cien Años?
Yes, we had to be tasting tobacco all the time. When we want to come again with the second release of the 100 años, we save tobacco for that. But it's not the same year before because the time, the weather affect the cosecha, the crop. So the weather is one of the factors that can change the flavors and the power of the tobacco. So we will be close, but people accept it. People that know about cigars, about tobacco, know that we don't be the same. We be close,
Right.
but not the same because the time.
And that must be a stressful part of your job. Right? Is waiting all that time and then seeing how close you can. Because
you
your
can
job
go.
is to get that blend as close as possible,
Exactly.
but you factors outside of your control.
That's right.
So the fact is that when you say you went from that 2003 to the 2008, it's just when you say you get close to the blend, it's a taste that you're searching for. Is that correct?
The taste.
Yep.
The
Yep.
taste. I can change the strength.
Yep.
But people to remind the 2003, it's not because the power, it's because the flavor that the cigar got.
Yeah.
That can you remember from the past.
What are some of the characteristics that you're looking for the taste?
I love the red fruity notes, like let's say pineapple, let's say orange, grapes that can give you those tropical fruit, like banana. But people have to know how to get that. But this is the reason why I am doing the seminar all over the world. People have to know how to enjoy his cigar, because cigar is not for smoke. Cigar is for enjoy. This is the difference. When you buy a cigar, the sitting, relax, getting no. This is the reason you don't like one cigar or you like another cigar, because flavors, power or strength is different. If you want something that hits you, you find it. But I want to be relaxed. I want to buy a cigar that want to hit you too much. You know what I mean?
Yep.
You increase that cigar knowledge, you have a greater appreciation for what you're smoking too.
And that's what the seminars are all about. Although it's great that it's based around the preferido, at the end of the day, it's just tobacco knowledge. Showing the consumer a different range and how you pick up flavors. It's not about just reading a review online that flush marshmallow was in there. It's how do you come to that idea? How do you get to that part of your palates? And that's what he pretty much does with Fuel Progress. He shows you how to understand which flavor is Peru, which is Brazilian, which is Nicaraguan. What is the difference? What are you supposed to be looking for?
Exactly,
And
exactly.
And it definitely takes that consumer to another level of appreciation.
Like I say, in the palate, you only can get 4 flavors. Only 4. If you go to internet to see how many flavors and aroma the nose can detect, you'll be surprised. The first time that I go in, I say it was a southern flavor more. I read some book that say that, but an old book. When you go to internet, they say 1 million. Another say more than 10 million. Most of the time I say 10,000 because people don't believe me that when I say millions. But it's a lot of flavor that the people lose at the moment that they're smoking. They don't know why they enjoy that cigar. The reason is flavors.
And I tend not to get too specific with the flavors in it, because I think sometimes it detracts from the enjoyment, right? Like, because I'm sitting there just trying to figure out what the flavor is, and a lot of times I just give up and be like, you know what, I'm just going to enjoy smoking it. Like, I know it's spicy or sweet or salty.
The sweet
or sour,
coming from
right?
something.
Yeah. And sweetness is one that I struggle with. Like, I get a sweetness and I'm like, I don't know. Is it bananas, apples, oranges, right?
No. You have to classify. Let's say you had the sweetness and saliva a little bit. You have to classify in the citrus, because citrus start to saliva.
I see. Okay.
So you can have green citrus, red citrus. Green citrus will be a little bit aggressive and sour, but you saliva. But red citrus, most of the time, bring the sweetness on the tobacco.
Yeah.
The soy.
Because I kind of put the red fruits right into one category because I have a tough time distinguishing, and I'll call it like a dark cherry sweetness is typically what I pick up on a lot of.
Exactly. People
cigars.
can associate it with the thing. Flavor is a memory from the past. So depend where you were born. And you remember the sweetness or the pineapple or the sweetness or the
I love
apple.
chocolate-covered cherries, and I think that's why probably that's your point, right? That's why I associate it with
exactly.
that. Yeah.
Exactly. But it's there. The sweetness is there because some fruity is there.
And how much of the process, Manuel, is how you treat the tobacco at first once you take it from the plant, and how much of it is how much you put into the soil and the growing process? Like, what do you think really factors in the most to contributing to having good tobacco that has the specific flavors that you're looking for? Is it the farming aspect? Is it the treatment afterwards? Which process?
No. You don't have to be in the land. When you put something in the land. No. You have to taste the land to see if they need more potassium. I don't know potassium in English.
Potassium.
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 Yep.
Wait, taste the land like you eat the dirt?
No. The company that sell the nutrients have a satellite, and they can see what this land need, and they supply you the right composition that you apply to the land. Nothing to see with flavors. Flavor is naturally by the land. You put a lemon tree right here, and let's say banana tree right here, in the same area, they become very acid, and this coming with so sweet. So it depends the plant that you plant.
I see. Yeah.
Okay.
And so, aside from the satellite and all that, like, what else do you do to maintain the nutrients of the soil? I've heard stories of people growing certain crops and then burning them, and there's lots of different methods. Which ones do you?
We had to turn it back to the land, or tobacco land, with natural things. We plant when the crop 3 months later finalized. We had to plant some corn, some beans. That returning naturally the thing that the tobacco take out.
I see. Okay.
Okay. If you go to the field, you can see the corn and in every place corn tree,
Yeah.
because it's good for returning the nutrients inside.
Into the soil. Yeah.
Also to keep the beetles against the tobacco.
Okay.
Because the beetles go to the tobacco and destroy it, but they love more the corn. So they go first to the corn. It's full of food. They don't have to go to the field.
Such an interesting process, man. Could
Keep
appreciate
some
it all.
corns inside the humidor, just in case.
That's right. I get some ears of corn in my new humidor in the corner over there.
Paul be at a farm stand. So if you put a corn in your humidor, the beetles will go for the corn before they go for the
Yeah, but it's not good to put the tobacco together, the cigar, with the corn, because we absorb flavor from the corn too.
Right.
And maybe you don't like the
That's a
corn.
new one for a review. Cream of corn.
Cream of corn. Yes. Cream corn.
Right. Do you search? Does the plantation search for like the same balance of nutrients year after year to try to get close
You have to.
from the information from the satellite, or
Yeah, you have to, because we affect the process and the curing process. If they don't have too much potassium or whatever thing that they need, the curing process will be good. So at the end, the tobacco doesn't burn, or the taste will be horrible. So you have to supply the right quantity and the right proportion of the thing that you put into the land.
Are there test crops that they'll plant in that area first before the tobacco to see if it takes?
I don't got the idea, the question.
like do they use like test crops to prop up for the nutrients?
La hierba y la mata. ¿Ustedes prueban una para ver cómo van la otra? O
No.
it's already known process y ya?
No. You have to finalize the crop. Let's say 3 months later, you do the curing. You don't have to taste nothing over there because the tobacco will kill you. Too strong, it's bitter. It's not good. You have to wait before the fermenting process or during the fermenting process.
I think that's what he's trying to say. After the fermenting,
After
the fermentation is when they're able to maybe just roll it right there, really quick, light something up,
You
and
cannot
see where it's at. But before that,
You cannot do nothing. You can decide if the tobacco is good. You're looking, for sure the weather, not too much rain, not too much sun. The crop will be good, and the tobacco leaf coming very wide, very nice. will be good, but you don't certainly know if it will taste good. You have to do the right
All the steps, yeah.
step.
Yeah, there's no way to test
Yeah.
until after you've grown the plant.
Exactly.
The Cien Años Maduro, probably one of my favorite cigars of all time. I definitely get that dark cherry sweetness from it.
Oh, yes.
So the broadleaf wrapper on that,
A broadleaf wrapper.
was that? Did you purchase that from Connecticut? Is that a Connecticut Valley?
Yes.
Broadleaf.
Yes.
So tell me about that process. Like, did you go to Connecticut and did you?
No. There are suppliers that visit us and bring sample
Okay.
and say, listen, this is tobacco that I got. Okay, I will let you know later. We do our process because everyone has his own way to do the process, every factory. So we do the process. 3 months, 4 months later, we say, okay, we need 30, 50 barrels. Send it to us. And then we do an extra fermentation to put it more darker.
Right.
And flavors.
It is a very dark wrapper.
Yeah. But
So, like, how long did it take you to determine that wrapper would go best on the Cien Años blend? Assuming that's the same Cien Años binder and filler, rather.
Yeah.
Did you put that wrapper on? Is that essentially the process?
we tried different Maduro wrapper. San André, also one Cameroon, Ecuador, I think was in that moment, and the Connecticut broadleaf. And we try, but to see if it work with that blend, because I don't want to change inside nothing.
I gotcha. Yeah.
So we do it like this, perfect, match with every cigar, the Connecticut broadleaf. We try with Preferido, we got it. We try.
Right, that's the black tubes in the
Exactly, the
okay.
the black tube. Then we do the Untamed. Remember that?
Yes,
that brand?
Untamed. Yeah.
We win the first place at that year when we coming. It was according to one magazine.
Yeah. That was a strong cigar.
Yes.
Probably the strongest on the catalog they've ever done.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
What do you do when you feel that that crop for that season is not quite there? Like what do you try to do to compensate or what do you do? What do you do then if it's not to your liking? well, first of all, has that ever happened?
Yeah.
Okay, so that has happened.
No,
right?
that's happened.
Yep.
Most of the time happen because again, change the weather change. So you maybe have a good crop or bad crop. When you do the whole process and you taste it and say, "Oof, I don't want that tobacco for premium," you can use it, but not in premium one. So we had to be back to the age, the tobacco age that you had in inventory. For this reason, big company has huge inventory of tobacco to save 1 year or 2 years or 3 years because you never know. And bring back those tobacco first because you already has it. So you bring it in, taste it, and try to adjust into the liga.
So there's, it sounds like there's very little wait. Like if you've gone through the process to grow tobacco, right? You're either going to wait on it, use it in a future blend, maybe sell it or blend it for someone else. It sounds like there's very little waste in the process.
Yeah. We do several tastes, several blend to keep it. I have maybe 1,000 type of cigar that nobody tasted yet.
Yeah.
It's in the aging room.
You're gonna get a request in a week on it.
DNA born that way, because I was trying the Andullo, the Araperique, Arapiraca, Fumo de Corda. We have those type of tobacco ready made. When I come in with this and say, okay, let's see what happened with that cigar is ready, 2 years.
Yeah.
From 2 years.
It sounds like even more of a process than I realized to have, like you said, 1,000 different blends. In smoking that many before, like when we get it in our hands, we think, oh well, like Manuel just said, take that, and that, and put it together, and here it is on the shelf. Like Manuel's the man. Like that's awesome. But there's a lot more inside of that process that you're experimenting with to come up with that.
Oh yeah,
You're like a mad scientist almost, right? Trying all kinds
Exactly.
of different.
You can do it, make the blend, they keep it, but at the end you have to teach the roller because they can destroy your beautiful thing that you made.
You
Because
have
at
to follow
the end,
through,
the
right.
roller made the blend that I want.
Yeah.
So the roller had to be very careful with that.
They have to know how much of each specific blend goes inside of the
Exactly,
filler.
because they can change it. If the best tobacco that he has at the table is the Biso, then we do the whole time with the Biso, then what happened with the rest? He don't want to use it because it's more easy to get it in the hand.
Yeah, yeah.
So people have to have conscience, and the supervisor has to be there. You're checking that.
So is it true that tobacco, and from what people have told me, that tobacco from the same region goes through different farming and fermentation processes, can taste completely different? So a lot of times we'll say on the show, like Dominican Piloto Cubano, it tastes like this. Is that true? Can you really like pinpoint a particular region, or does that depend on whether it's your farm or someone else's farm in the same plant in the same region?
No. Guillermo's father, for example, he was a buyer, tobacco buyer, one of the best. Just smelling, he can say this tobacco belonged for La Finca de Pedro. And was growing close to the lemon tree. What? How you don't? It's true. How you don't? How you know that?
Yeah.
It's the experience. I cannot do that yet. I'm trying to learn.
Try and learn. Sit close.
See,
Yeah.
but it's true. You can get Piloto Cubano from La Canela, which is a region in Dominican, and Piloto Cubano from Mao. It's two different things.
Yeah.
Because the land is the first factor to affect the flavor. You can bring Piloto Cubano from Cuba, the sea, and putting here, totally different to the Cuban one.
Right.
Totally different because the land has its own nutrients.
Yeah, I've always thought that was interesting because we say, well, it has Piloto Cubano, so maybe that it tastes a certain way. That's total bull.
Oh yeah.
Okay. That's what I was getting at. But I thought so, and that's consistent from what people have said. So, now the Cameroon, you don't grow that yourself, right? You have to go through the process of importing that from Africa.
Yes.
Which is, I'm told, is an interesting process.
No anymore. La Aurora don't bring it from Africa. We bring the sea. I'm testing in Dominican and testing in Ecuador. And Dominican was so hard to get it. The wrapper. In Ecuadorian, perfect. So we make agreement with the grower in Ecuador. We get very good result. Very nice. It looked like a banana seed. Very dark, nice, more oil.
And so that everything being produced today with Cameroon on it is Ecuadorian Cameroon.
Yes,
because of the issues that you had trying to get the tobacco out of Cameroon.
It's complicated, very complicated to get it out. So, who want complication?
Yeah.
We grow in Ecuador, it's okay.
Gotcha.
People said we have a very nice product in the Cameroon. For example, I don't have my glasses now. We call it this a time capsule because 3 different wrapper. It means at the moment that we start to use it.
Each year on the wrapper is indigenous to the year the company first worked with that wrapper. So 1903, they worked with Cameroon. 1962, they worked with Corojo. 1987, they worked with Connecticut.
Yeah. For me, I love the Corojo. But a few days ago, the people, we doing a tasting seminar or something like that, they love more the Cameroon. I'm happy because we get very nice product from Ecuadorian.
Yeah, in tasting different Cameroon, what people told me was that the original African Cameroon tastes better than the one grown in Ecuador. But I smoke a lot of Aurora's Cameroon, and I agree. Like when we did the blending seminar, when we smoked the Prefri with the Cameroon, I was like,
it's so good.
It's so good. I would have never known that. I would have thought that it would have came from Africa for that. So that's really
Can't
cool.
possibly
I didn't
get
know
any
that.
better than that. That's the tops right there.
But go back to the Corojo, because there was a line for La Aurora Corojo.
Yeah.
'Cause I have some. There's like a Churchill size,
Yes.
and it's aging beautifully. It's awesome now.
A burn flavor inside. It's amazing. Amazing. We are happy with people try to get cigar at the right price. For us to do a cigar with the low price is so hard because we are huge, so many employees. So there I was asking for a good cigar, more cheap. What can I say? Because the tobacco cost, the packing, the boxes and band cost too. So we do this we reduce the cost on the boxes and the packing material. And finally we come with something nice, cheap.
Yeah. And so the Corojo line has always been the lesser,
Yeah, the
expensive line.
Corojo line, the Connecticut line, and the La Aurora name, and the Cameroon ones.
Yeah.
And
Our base
and the right price point.
Right. And so tell me about the Corojo. I'm assuming you grow that on your own farms.
The Corojo, that Corojo, no. That Corojo is growing in Ecuador too.
Okay.
The 100 años, the wrapper is Habana HBA. This one is close to the Corojo, but growing in Dominican. We got Corojo from Dominican. But the one that I'm getting in Ecuador, it's much, much better.
Gotcha.
But you have more flavor in Dominican. More flavors.
Dominican Corojo.
See, Dominican
Yeah.
Corojo, yeah.
Do you have a line that uses the Dominican Corojo?
I'm not sure now. No. I want to use it in this one, but I find out that the Habana 2000 was much better, so I put it
Went with
this.
that. Yeah. So tell us about this new cigar that we're all smoking.
The beautiful DNA, La Aurora ADN. All the time we are trying to find out things on the tobacco line. We do one special release because some culture we are losing. For example, the andullo process that the Indian do from the very, very beginning, the native from the Dominican Republic and Cuba too. That process is in the falling, not coming usually.
It's being forgotten.
Yeah.
Trying to remind people. bring
So
back the
why is
culture.
that? And describe for our listeners that process.
Yeah. So we know that our farmer, our campesino, smoke a lot, but chop it like a short filler, and pipe tobacco or chewing. I say, what happens if I put it in the premium one? So we use it. We documentate how the process. We do a video. The process is on the tree. You have to cut 6 leaves from the bottom, right? De abajo hacia arriba.
Sí.
From the bottom to the top. 6 leaves and draw away. Then the rest of the leaf you keep is very strong because you are getting out the mañanita, the seco,
You're getting rid of the
the
bottom.
volado.
Leaves. Yeah.
So you have the
Now that you said, I've heard of this process before. Yeah. So
Yeah.
the leaves towards the top.
at the top.
You leave the lejero. leaves,
Bicho, Corona.
Yeah.
And they, the Indian in the past do it because they had to transporting all his product to different places in the island. They had to use something to tie it, to put it nicely. So they used the palm tree leaf. And they roll it in it. Then they tied it with a rope to put all the juice out. And they had to open again 2 weeks later or 3 weeks later to see if everything is okay. And then they tied it again. They do that 6 times, 5, 6 times. And at the end, 1 year later, you will have something like that. Very, very hard. And you only can cut it with knife or one device to cut to sell it. We find out a way to separate it and to bring back the whole leaf. Smell it, smoke it. It's so strong. Very strong in terms of flavor and taste. Easy to see chocolate, easy to see cocoa, coffee, vanilla. All those flavors that it's a little bit complicated to get in right here. It's easy to get in the Landullo. You can smell it. This is, and the sweetness, caramel. I hope you can get one piece of Landullo to, you understand me. 1 leaf of this, too much. When you combine it with the rest of the tobacco. So in the 1 leaf, we separate half a leaf, long leaf, to put it nice with 4 more tobacco, type of tobacco that is inside.
So it goes in the filler.
Yes,
half a leaf in the filler.
Half a leaf and the filler together with the 4 type of tobacco. I don't remember exactly the blend now, but very, very nice, the combination that are coming out, the Andullo, to disturb you. Just to get those flavors that is not easy to get it here, you can get it here. And the name, because it's something from the natural from the Caribbean, from Dominican. It's tied with our DNA, our body. So we say, okay, it's something that identifies us. Let's put a DNA. And people absorb the name.
And what's the wrapper leaf used on
The
this?
wrapper Habana 2000.
Okay.
Habana 2000. Very nice crop. Very nice in terms of bend. But in the binder, it's Cameroon, Africa.
Cameroon from Africa.
From Africa.
Because you had some left over from a...
Yeah.
Yeah, we got some stuff playing around.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, Cameroon is very thin. It's difficult to use on the... Especially, is it thinner and more fragile when it comes from Africa versus Ecuador?
Sí.
Okay.
More thinner. The Ecuadorian is more thick.
Yeah.
More oil over there, but this is more... I love Cameroon, Africa. I'm a fan of Cameroon, Africa, because the sweetness, the gentle that this tobacco is. If you have the good crop, because in the past it was very oily, very nice, but now the weather changed. And it's not coming like the 10 years ago. Let's say that.
And so now to get the thicker leaf in Ecuador, is that like botany? Is there hybrid plant stuff that you do like science, or is it just because it grew in a different environment and therefore it was
a different environment? The land in Ecuador, is very high altitude, in mountain. You don't need shade for that because the cloud
naturally cloudy, right?
Yeah. So that give it the particularity, flavor, and taste. I'm very nice to roll. You don't have too many weights.
Right, right.
And that means a lot. Of course, the 1 pound, a pound from Ecuadorian one is cheaper than 1 pound of Cameroon.
Yeah, because you have to bribe people to get it out and stuff, right? I've heard stories from other manufacturers, right? That's funny. You guys, more questions for Manuel?
You have a question?
Not a question. I just wanted to interject before we forget. You guys have a blending seminar tonight as well.
Yes, North
For the
Providence.
listeners that looking for a nice night out, educational.
And it's actually a first of its kind. For the first time, we'll be doing a DNA blending seminar. So similar to the Preferido blending seminar you guys have already seen and done with the 4 pure grades. Now we added a 5th, which is Andullo. And we're going to be educating the guys, taking them from seed to final product and, really educating on what is Andullo, what makes this cigar so special, and, what is the DNA and everything like that.
Oh yeah,
That's
yeah.
awesome.
Where's that going to be, Willie?
Mr. Cigar in North Providence, down on Mineral Springs Avenue.
Yep.
Everything starts around 6 or so.
And that's tonight.
Yes, sir.
Oh yes, it's the first time that we do here.
So now you guys have kind of smoked a little bit or halfway into the new DNA, which you guys are smoking, which hasn't even shipped out yet. What do you guys think?
I think it's really good. I like the flavors a lot. It has, I find like a thicker consistency to the smoke than some of your other offerings. It's just like a thicker body to the smoke. Is that because of the
Because then do you?
Enduyo?
Yeah. If you taste any cigar that we had, it's totally different to that one. People don't identify that cigar is made on the La Aurora line.
Yeah.
Because it's totally different.
No, it's definitely different. It's a good different.
It's, yeah. Of course. It's more easy to get flavors in that cigar than another, because the Andullo help a lot to potentialize the rest of the tobacco that is in the blend.
What I like about it is, everything that we seem to smoke from you is ready out of the box. Sometimes we always talk about, okay, I'm gonna revisit it in 6 months, and I'm gonna wait on this because it's too new. Every single smoke I have had is just ready. Right there.
Yeah.
So as a new smoke that hasn't even hit out of the market, it doesn't need any rest, and I can only imagine that if it was rested, if someone was able to get a box or half a box and had some to rest it would just get bigger and better.
We had 114 years now. So the company take a lot of care with the quality.
Mm-hmm.
We don't rush the time. And tobacco, like wine, like the rum, need time. If you bring rum young, you will feel it.
Mm-hmm.
If you're getting very aged, you will feel it too. The same with the tobacco.
Mm-hmm.
The company, of course, want to make money, but it's not the principal target. The target is to give it to the consumer very nice thing that according that we know, But we respect the time for every process.
Manuel, how long from seed to the retail store does that whole process take for you, for La Aurora? It differs, right?
Yeah, let me clarify. For La Aurora, take at least 6 years.
6 years.
Yes.
Now, some do it in 3 or 4.
Oh, yeah.
So you can do it in, like, what's the minimum is probably like 3, right?
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. But you will taste it that the cigar, if you are connoisseur, you will discover like that.
It shows.
Yeah, it definitely shows.
Exactly. So people want to make money easily. And they put it more short in the process and want to sell it. Big company don't need that. Don't need that. They need to put people comfortable, enjoyable, and his brand has to respect.
Explains why 2-3 years in my humidor, once I get it, does make a difference on other manufacturers' cigars sometimes, right? Like 3 years tends to be a magic, one of those kind of magic times to sit and rest in my humidor. La Aurora cigars, they sit in 3 years. It's an amazing experience. Now, do you still put those cards inside of the boxes? For a while, you were putting those little cards.
Oh, yeah.
It was handwritten, too. It was handwritten.
Just in the preferidos line.
Just in the preferidos. You still do that in the preferidos.
Sí.
And what dates are on there? Is it rolled, boxed, and?
No, the time on age, the cigar, just the cigar, not the whole tobacco. Time on age, the age, and time they release.
Okay.
It's two dates.
2 dates, right?
Yes.
Is when the cigar became a cigar.
Yep.
And then the time in which it was shipped to the retailer.
Packed and
Right?
The packaging.
Yeah, okay.
That's right.
That's awesome. I wish more manufacturers would do that. It's kind of it helps me as a consumer. I'm like, those are I gotta smoke those now, right?
That's right.
Do you find in it probably varies per blend, of course, that if you wait too long, I notice a lot of times if I age something, I've waited too long, and I feel like most of the flavors have aged out. Do you have recommendations for people to manage that process once we get the cigars in our own personal humidors?
Personal humidor, yes. When you got the humidor, you have to take care of 3 things. One depend on you if you want to do it with cellophane or without cellophane. That's very personal. For me, I would try to put it without cellophane because the aroma, the humidor, I love the cedar taste, the wood, will go easy to the tobacco. Another thing is, be careful with the water that you apply on the water system. Too much water, the tobacco start to work again. As soon as you apply water, he start to work. But it work because it's closed and turn more, white more. And you can see it. Is that not good? And more humidity or less humidity change flavors. If you have a lot of humidity in it, when you try, it's a little bit bitter.
Yeah.
It's not good. But you can save it. That does not mean that you can destroy it. You can save it. Let's see a piece of a cup of this in just white vinegar. Put it in the water, shake it, and then you put it in. You let it dry the humidor because it's an excess of humidity, and put it for 3 or 5 weeks until they're coming slow to reduce the humidity. Same thing for if it is dry. You can crush the cigar, and the taste is bad too. Have to have the proper humidity, 70, 74 percentage of humidity inside. And the big problem, the beetles.
Yeah.
Right. The beetles. Some manufacturing don't do the right fumigation on it. Because
So is it a fumigation process that removes the beetles or a freezing process?
we got two. La Aurora have two. The regular fumigating, that you can kill only the fly, the adult one.
The flies would drop the larvae for the
Yeah.
beetles. Okay.
The fumigating, the cooling process to reduce the temperature, they kill everything. So, but you have to take care that in the moment that you put it out for the refrigerator, because if you put in like this right away, flavor change. So you have to be increasing the temperature slow, 5 days.
Flavor changes permanently with drastic temperature changes.
Temperature affect every type of cigar.
Right. And humidity too, will that change the flavor permanently in the cigar?
Yes.
Okay.
Tobacco is like us, alive, un ente vivo. Como tú dices, something that is alive. As soon as you apply water, it starts to work. And the way that you can discover that you smell it, and ammonia coming.
Yeah.
Like this, no ammonia. A lot of piece of water, ammonia come. And
Interesting.
the taste start to affect you.
And now the freezing system, it's not like my freezer in my refrigerator.
Yeah, yes, could be.
Is there differences?
It's close to this concept. To help the people that got problem with the beetles in his humidor, there's no way. You have to destroy the one that have the hole, to separate and destroy it. The reds, as you can see, is good. You put in a plastic bag and put it in the freezer for 5 days. And then
For 5 days.
5 days.
I was only doing a couple of days when I had that problem. Yeah.
And then you have to put it on the normal refrigerator.
yes.
And then you go to the humidor.
Right.
Because
So 5 days, huh? I didn't know that. Okay.
4 or 5 days, it's okay. Yeah.
Well, hopefully we don't have those problems in our humidors if we listen to this show and all of the wonderful tips from folks like Manuel. That's great.
Besides you being patient, right? What's the biggest lesson that you've learned from your line of work? So, because obviously, if I said what's the biggest lesson, you say, well, you got to be patient in order for you to do that. So, if you take that, what's the biggest lesson that you've learned from all the years that you've been blending?
to understand the different tastes of the people, because cigar is very personal. It's complicated to put happy 4 people. It's more complicated to put happy 1,000 people. So to get a good flavor without too much power, this is my thing that is exciting to me the most. Because to get flavor, you have to use a leaf from the top. Most of the time, leaf from the top are strong, very strong, and overlap the flavor. So you have to have the right leaf on the top to use it. And this is my every time that I love to do it, to get it.
One of his favorite lines is he likes making cigars that are full flavor, not full body.
Yeah.
Meaning anybody and everyone can enjoy it at any time of the day, at any point in their lives.
Yep, that's very true of the work too. That's one of the first characteristics that I notice is that we call them flavor bombs here. you know, but tons of flavor, very tasty on the palate, very elegant on the palate.
I describe it as versatility, and that I actually factor into my ratings as well. If the cigar is too light or too strong, I can't smoke it at certain times of the day. If I spend my hard-earned money on a cigar, I don't want to have to wait for a certain time of day to smoke it. And that versatility, and Aurora cigars, definitely a lot of them, probably 90% have that incredible versatility.
Take the 100 años. You can be a beginner smoker.
Yeah.
You can be a meteor smoker. You can be a full body smoker. But that cigar, no matter what time of the day you get it, it's rich in flavor, not overly body. You'll enjoy it.
You can appreciate it many
It
many
doesn't
levels.
matter.
Yep.
Whether you're tailgating, you're sitting down, there's no wrong way or wrong part of the day to smoke that cigar.
That's it.
That's the sign of a good cigar, for sure.
And that's his aim always.
Awesome. So these are on the market now?
They are they will be arriving in about 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. They will be hitting the market. We released them at the show, and just a testimony of what a great company is, and that's the name behind it is DNA, 114 years. This is in their blood, and everybody that has smoked it, unless they're lying to us, they've enjoyed it.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, it's very good. I like it
It's
a lot.
something totally different.
Yeah,
Lots of
absolutely.
flavor.
out of their norm, but it's like you said, it's a great characteristic and a great norm, although it's outside of their norm.
And we have a video that we're going to play.
You have a video that shows the process in which they bring it down, how they prepare the yasas and they roll it, the rope trying and everything like that.
Excellent. Well, what we'll do now is we'll conclude this interview and then we'll roll the video at the end. So I want to thank Willie and Manuel. Thank you both for coming on the show. Thank you,
for having us.
Manuel, for all of your knowledge that
Yes,
you've shared
thank
on this interview. It's been fantastic. I certainly learned a lot. There's no the learning never stops from Manuel.
No,
I've been to your
that's
blending
right.
seminars,
That's
always learning something new. So thank you for sharing.
No, thank you to bringing us here to share information with the people. This is that I love, to tell the people what do we do.
Yeah, and you get to do more of that tonight.
Yes, sir.
Which is exciting.
Yes.
That's awesome. Well, thank you both.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
With that, we'll cut to a video, and then we'll see you next time on the Stogie Geeks Show. Thanks for listening and watching.